Why play Ksante top lane? Well, he is incredibly tanky. He can also change this up to deal tons of damage instead. He is an amazing duelist, and he's both fun to play and rewarding to learn. However, he does have a weaker early game against some matchups, and he does have a high skill ceiling, which means he can take a while to master. Ksante's passive is his abilities mark enemies hit for 4 seconds. His basic attacks against these marked targets gain bonus range and deal additional damage. When Ksante is in all-out form, this deals additional damage as true damage. Ksante's Q has 3 activations, and he gains a stack of this every time he hits an enemy with the ability. The first 2 are short-range rectangular skill shots, which deal damage to and slow enemies hit. The third is a longer range skill shot, which pulls enemies towards you and also stuns them. While Ksante is in all-out form, he can use these abilities even faster. And in addition, all of these work as auto-attack resets. Ksante's W causes him to stand still and charge the ability for a short amount of time. During this time, he can't be displaced and also gains a large amount of damage reduction. Upon use, Ksante then dashes in a direction, dealing damage to all enemies hit, stunning them and also carrying them with him. When Ksante is in his all-out form, this no longer knocks back and stuns, but he gains increased damage reduction, and the total cooldown and minimum cast time is also reduced so he can use this ability faster. Ksante's E is a short-range dash which grants him a shield. This can also be used to dash to an ally where the range is increased, and he also will then shield the ally. When Ksante is in his all-out form, the dash speed and range are increased, and he can also now dash through terrain. This ability can also be used as an auto-attack reset. Ksante's ultimate is a point-and-click ability which roots an enemy champion in place. After this, he then dashes to them, knocking them back, dealing damage and stunning them. If this is used against terrain, he instead pushes them through the terrain, dealing even more damage. After this time, he enters all-out form for 20 seconds. While he's in all-out form, he can't go above his 65% health. He also loses a large amount of armor and magic resist, but instead gains a large amount of attack damage, attack speed, and heals for damage dealt to champs. He can reactivate this ability to end it early. His basic combo is to use Q into auto-attack and E to dash on them. Follow up with an auto-attack into W, either tapping it to stun or holding it down to push them in the wrong direction. Auto-attack into Q before spamming away with attacks until you can use your final Q. Your all-in combo is to have a stacked Q before going in with E and using Q. Follow up using W to push them towards a wall before using your ultimate. From here, your abilities reset, so keep spamming away with the Qs and attacks, relying on W and E to chase them down. For matchups, Ksante can struggle against champions who are great at bullying tanks, and he does great into champions he can easily stick to and run down. For runes, take this, Grasp is everything you want. For build order, start Shield and Pot into tier 2 boots and a Frozen Fist. After this, a Sunfire and Gargoyles are great pickups before finishing your build with any of these as needed. For skill order, start Q then E then W before maxing Q then W then E, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Teleport. Starting the game, your main focus is going to be on farming hard and taking good trades. When looking to trade, your level 1 between your Q and passive is actually incredible. Otherwise, constantly look for windows where your opponent is weaker than you. And when you hit level 6, as long as you have room to chase down your opponent all in them. After this, you tend to want to split push for pressure. If they send one person, you're an amazing duelist, and if they send multiple, you can change it back to a 1v1 by pulling someone through a wall. Entering late game teamfights, you want to be your team's frontline. Absorb damage where possible until they've used all their abilities, before going all out to kidnap one of their carries or simply dive their backline to deal tons of damage and disruption.